He has joined. So let me start by saying hello to everybody here. This is our first competition of this year by AYF Global, and we'll be starting in 1 minute. I would first like to start by uh, introducing our team and how we came up with this business competition and what's on the today's agenda. So business wellness. So this business wellness pitch, the idea was to cover each and every aspect of business. So for this, we carried out 3 challenges over last 6 months, and we covered each and every aspect. We covered each and every aspect of wellness. So each business challenge was associated with two aspects of that wellness. So first business challenge was associated with environmental and social, and the winner
recording in progress.
Mr. Jose from Peru. He developed an app to tackle food wastage in Awaji. Our second business challenge winner is a team from India who developed an emotional tracking app to help people who are neurodivergent. And our winner of our final business challenge is Miss Chinere Ikele, who is from Nigeria, who has been living in Japan for last 5 years, and she wants to provide counseling through art. Now, I would like this opportunity to introduce our esteemed guest of this competition, Ms. Elizabeth Masamune, who is also Senior Managing Director of Awaji Youth Federation and ex-diplomat, and she is very equipped to help you guys and provide better insight in that. Our next judge is Ms. Junik Bey, Mr. Junik Bey. He's our team leader at Awaji Youth Federation, and he also worked in new business development in Persona Group. And last but not the least is Mr. Azman Hafid. He is one of our alumni at Awaji Youth Federation, is also product manager at Rakuten Group. For those people in today's agenda, our first presenter would be Mr. Jose. You'll have 7 minutes to present your page, and then our judges will have. Yes, ma'am.
I thought I might just say some words of welcome and thank you.
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So, as the senior representative of the AYF, and personally, thank you for the effort put into that you and the time that you've spent to come up with these wonderful new business ideas. So we're very pleased to have you all today, and thank you once again for being part of AYF Global and AYF more broadly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, ma'am, for such kind words and things. I would also like to invite at the same time Mr. Junik and Mr. Azman to say some words to our participants.
Okay, thank you so much. As Elizabeth said, really welcome to this webinar, and I'm really looking forward to see the 3 business idea and scheme. I think Elizabeth already covered the thing that I wanted to say. So yeah, that's it.
Alumni, and when I was working in Pasona, I did a lot of also business speech in the Pasona, and it's really interesting opportunity to kind of get more into this improves. I hope for all the participants, good luck for me, and just try to do your best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Azman, for taking the time and giving and inspiring our candidates. getting back to the agenda, so our first presenter will be Mr. Jose, followed by Team Emode, and finally Ms. Chinere. You will have 7 minutes to present your pitch, which will be followed by 10 minutes questionnaire by judges, and then we'll move on to the next participants. The result of this this business pitch will be declared on 22nd February in the front 22nd February, and more details will be provided to you by email. So keep a lookout on that thing. And lastly, I would like to introduce my team, and I'll like to especially thank Mr. David for guiding us. Myself, Ashutosh Architecture, and with me I have my fellow Felicia Jennifer. She's from Indonesia and she specializes in business and marketing. So she might have a lot of insights to provide to you guys. So without wasting any time, I would like to invite Mr. Jose to present his pitch. And as soon as your 7 minutes finishes, I'll let you know. And you have to stop there. So thank you so much. Mr. Jose, you can share your screen now.
Thank you. I had some connection problems. I don't know if the jury don't mind if I just turn off the video, or do you mind about this?
If you're having a network bandwidth issue, you can share your screen and turn off your video, because I think that will help you in presenting. But when you're answering the questions, please turn on your camera and answer those questions.
Okay, sure, no problem, no problem. Okay, thank you so much for understanding. Okay, can you hear me better? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So your time starts now. Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Jose. Today I will introduce Awaji Food, a new and revolutionary platform for the food waste. So let's start saving the food. Okay, let's start about the problem. Do you know like 1/3 of the food is waste in Awaji Island? They don't have any well control, or they don't know how to do with those food. Like for example, business owners from restaurants, catering service, and hotels, they don't have any way to connect with those end users that they want to get some kind of food or leftovers. They don't have any chance to get a second hand for this. So on that way, the problem stands like they don't have a platform still in Awaji Island or even in Japan to can solve this problem. So on that way, I get an inspiration from the rural areas from Germany, because from the time to time I go from the bike to another city outside of Munich. In the rural area, sometimes you can find some spots like you can collect some food leftovers, and also you can leave your food leftovers. So I said, why not? Why not? We can try to replicate this great solution into Japan. So that's why I come up with a solution, the ReFood platform. ReFood stands for reduce the food and reduce the leftovers in Awaji Island. So we are using the software as a service SaaS platform to connect those people who want to get the leftover to the restaurants catering service, and also those hotels and restaurant catering services. They can also get share the leftovers also. So this new waste food platform will be implemented in Hawaii Island from both sides, from the end users and from the Horeca industry. So let's talk about in more detail how is the user experience about this. Basically, the user, they will have daily meals like lunch, dinner, and breakfast, and they just will put the leftovers in the fridge, storage, or any put that can conserve the food. And they will upload the food picture and information with the food preparation dates, price, etc. And they will have the sale of the food by receiving the payment through our application, through our app, our platform, and they can send a food delivery to self pickup. I mean, or they can put it in the back of the restaurant or a specific spot we can say later on. There will be some cases like the food leftover cannot be sold out, so maybe they can do some donations to some charity foundations or homeless. Our platform also can deal with this. So for our business model, we have the B2B and the B2C because we are also talking about the business owners. So for the first type of user, no user type one, we have the free product that people just can check the map, the Google map, and they can find our spots where to left they put the leftovers. And then we have the premium one, which is focused for business owners that can pay a kind of subscription and get some revenue to the platform, and they will get some refund coins. Like we want to do some blockchain coins that people can exchange. For example, 10 US dollar can become 100 refood coins, so they can exchange and reward the customers as well. We will provide some webinars for those premium users. They can get some knowledge from the EIT Food from Germany and some training for their employees. They will get some Refood Fest, which is one of the value we want to propose to them. Like we want to connect all the business owners, and they can stay in one meal or one reunion that can they can be that impact social to the people. The extra reward programs for also for frequently users and etc. So as I mentioned in the value proposition, we want to connect this platform with the Horeca industry companies and the end users. And also, we want to do some reward by creating the blockchain coins to pay the payment and reward to the end users. As I mentioned, we have the Refood Fest monthly meetings, which is basically uh, they will not only rotate the meeting because they got as so far as I know they have many restaurants like for example from Pasona they have many restaurants in Awaji and Japan, so they can even make one meeting in one restaurant and the next meeting in a second restaurant, etc. So we have the support of EIT Food since I'm doing a PhD in Germany. We are getting one of the biggest food research institutes from Europe. So what we want also is to scale up from Amaji to all Japan because we want more data, more density. Oh, you want to, ma'am?
Recording in progress.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes.
Sorry, I think the connection was not good. Can I continue with the part I left? Hello, can,
So,
can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
And
Hello, can you hear me? Oh my gosh. Hello, can you hear me?
Recording in progress.
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Can I continue the part I left?
Yeah, you have 2 minutes. And so,
All right. Okay. So basically, this is the value proposition we want to get about the blockchain coins. We can create a unique platform for people here, also to connect with the end user and the Horeca industry. And we have the support with the EIT Food, the biggest European research food in Europe. Can you put the next slide? Yeah, we want to scale up also, I mean, from whole Japan. As I know, it's in the research we did about Pasona, they have many restaurants in Awaji and all Japan. And we want to basically just start a pilot test with them, right? Like, for example, the employees can leave their food and in leftovers in the back of the restaurant or a specific point we will tell you later on. And we want to start a pilot test in those. It's really feasible and really doable. So next, please. And the best is yet to come. Next, please. We want to establish the real food solution in Awaji Island, Japan. We want to establish a real company for goals and have some strategy plans and marketing plans for them. Next one, please. And also, we have 5 years projection financials. For the first year, we have some stable income and also some expenses like 50K for the first year capital. Of course, in the first year, we have some losses, but later on, in the fifth year, with the net profit, we can get around 292K US dollar. Next, please. So this is my background, basically computer science engineer. Currently, I did my master degree, and then also I doing my PhD in Germany about bioinformatics. I have some experience in IBM and Acer as well. Thank you so much. If you have any question, please just let me know. And sorry for the connection; it's too bad here. Sorry.
Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Jose,
Yeah.
for your presentation. Now I'd like to hand over the floor to our esteemed judges if they have any questions regarding your project.
Okay, so Jose, thank you very much for that very interesting proposal. My one concern, based on what you already told us, is just how this will work in reality is unclear. So I understand the concept and the idea, but there are a number of food banks which operate in Japan already. And I think they have a similar philosophy. But on Awaji, transport is quite limited, and also I just think the practicalities of how people would go about picking up food, where would they take it, where would they recycle it, those practicalities are not clear from your presentation.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Yeah. So as I mentioned during the presentation, I mean, people only can put it, I mean, in some spots we will specify during the application, or you can put in the back of the restaurants. It's, I mean, not really about the method of the transportation because there will be many available spots for them. Even in the restaurants, in their own houses, they can upload a picture, the information of the food, and people can go self pick up or go to the bike to pick up the food.
So yeah, I get that sort of part. I get that part. But when they pick it up, is it just a matter of taking food that would otherwise be wasted because it cannot be sold in a restaurant anymore? Or, you know, if it's leftovers or food waste, what happens to it after that?
I mean, if after upload a picture and information, people will pick it up, and they will have a time rate like 1 or 2 days to pick up, and then the food will be sold out. I mean, for them. I'm not sure about for example, like I said before, like Pasona, they have many restaurants in Hawaii, if I'm not wrong, also in Japan. So basically, there will be a connection also between those restaurants and the service and logistics can be even improved about this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth.
I have also like a comment regarding this part. Can I just start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first, thank you for your presentation. I mean, like it's quite like a lot of information in that part, but I think I just don't really clear regarding the use case of it. like when we talk about like real kind of like use case, because like for example, I mean like in the high overview it's quite clear, like yeah, solving the problem of the food waste. But like if we talk in really like I mean like in real use case, like this is just for example, if the leftover is kind of like vegetable, it will be different use case if the leftover is like rice on like or something kind of like what that type of food. So for that, it's not really clear. So can you explain again, like for kind of like what is kind of like the real use case, like whether like what kind of restaurant who will buy that kind of like food and what kind of food? Like, can you like elaborate more in that part, like with kind of like one real kind of like real use case of your platform?
Yeah, sure. For example, let's say like we want to sell some products that almost to have expiration date, like for example some snacks they already well sold, or some milk is almost to expire. So you can put it in specific spots or specific containers, like they can preserve that till the date of expiration. So people just can get the information through our app platform, and they will go through those. Okay, they say, okay, I still have 5 days or 3 days for this food, so I can just take it over for our platform. This is a very specific case. I mean, people using some products like cookies, milk, or something is already sealed or almost to expire. Of course, if you want to use it for real food, we need to prepare specific containers for this kind of food.
Yeah, which kind of like use case will you focus? Because like I mean like you need to the end customer, what kind of people will use that kind of like reusable product, and then like for what, I mean like it will be easier if you have like solid, like okay, for example you mentioned for milk, I mean like milk is really just like short, so it means like you can pitch like this is for like people who want to make yogurt or something, like I don't know, but like for that kind of like use case, like can you elaborate more, like what kind of people will use
Oh,
that waste product?
basically about students or busy workers. Like for example, they cannot find something closer, or they maybe still don't have time to cook at home. So it would be cheaper for them to buy something like a leftover from a restaurant or catering service or hotels. Yeah, this is very specific example.
Yeah, I think that's also like could be a good point to add in your presentation, so people can imagine like how's the real when people using your apps, like end to end of the user from the restaurant part to, and then like from the using. I think it will be really help people
Yeah,
to understand.
yeah, that's why I mentioned about the German study case in the beginning of my presentation. Like Munich, because I live in Munich, is very busy people are there. But when they go out from Munich to the rural areas like Awaji, it's really hard to find food. I mean, unless you have some app specific bring you to the spot to pick up the food.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jose, for answering, and thank you so much, Mr. Asman, for the insight that you provided us. Mr. Jun, if you have any
Okay.
questions.
I think yeah, from the answer that I heard from Azman's one, so we are like trying to start this business idea from Awaji, and like probably like which means is focusing the rural area. So when I see this, I just question, simple question is just why we want to is fit for the rural area basically. So as Elizabeth said also, in Japan and Awaji there is like kind of transportation limited transportation issue, and if you want to focus on the rural area, then why it's fit for rural area. And from my perspective, it seems more like easy to start with a more urban city, which is more easy to pick up the food, and as a transportation part is more easy to rotate also. But why it should be fit with this kind of rural area part? Just
Right.
want to ask.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because of course in the urban areas easier, but as I mentioned in the case in Germany, I mean when you go out from the city, I mean it's really hard to find a very place to find a food, or even if you want to put a leftover in a place, you don't have any options. So why not to implement it in a rural area, like for example, putting the food in a spot, or maybe connect with a platform. And I wanted to put it, for example, in rural area because we can add the value in that area. Also, we can add the value in Awaji. Like for example, I don't know, you can put like I don't know, like a mobile minivan with some service like this. I don't know if you saw it, but I don't know. I think Japan also has, but I'm not sure. But you can put a wheel with a minivan, and people can get a mobile spot also. So they will increase the value for visiting the rural area as well.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Finally, just one comment from me, Jose, for you to consider further is just that in Japan, perhaps even more strict than Germany, there are extremely strict rules about the sale and consumption of food. So once food has passed the expiry date, it cannot actually legally be sold by anybody in Japan. And they're really, really strict about this stuff. So just in terms of the back end, I mean, how you would collect it and what sort of mechanism you use to collect it all, that was clear. But who's going to consume it, on what basis and how? You would also need to consider the type of food. If it's processed food, maybe that's much easier, like rice or biscuits or something like that. But the closer it gets to fresh food, the more difficult it becomes in terms of the local rules and regulations that you would have to deal with in the Japanese environment. That's just a piece of information for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I will take it in consideration. We can start for any specific type of food, and later on we can move forward to a more fresh food, or we need to deal with some regulatory affairs. That's really good. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you to all the judges, and thank you, Mr. Jose, for a nice presentation. One comment that I have from my side, I would like you to have a look at my Mitsu app. One of the founders came here and presented about this. I think that could be one of those apps that can help you build up this platform. They have a nice business idea and they're implementing it, and I think they are in 1 or 2 countries now. So I think you should have a look at my Mitsu app.
Okay.
It's a nice app. So moving on, I would like to invite Team Emote for the presentation. Team Emote, you will have 7 minutes to present. And if you like, you can start sharing your screen now.
Yeah, just a second. I'll share my screen.
Yeah. Can you share your screen now?
Yeah, 1 second. Is it visible?
Yeah, you'll have 7 minutes to let me know when you want to start.
Okay, 1 second. I'll be starting now. So
we can't see your screen actually.
Oh, you can't? Can you see it now?
Not really. Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay.
You can start now.
Okay, hi. So hello everyone. I am Riddhi. First, let's just meet the team. I'm Riddhi. This is Gokul, and you can see Divya. She's present. So we're business students from DOC, Department of Commerce in Manipal, India, and Divya is a pharmacy student. Moving on, since it's a short amount of time, I would just like to talk about the problem statement that we found when we went to a school for special needs children. There we saw that the lack of accurate and efficient methods for capturing emotional fluctuations in children with special needs hindered their ability to receive proper care and support. And the current methods of tracking emotions, such as verbal self-report or observation by caregivers, are often unreliable and time-consuming. So as a result, there is a need for digital solution that can accurately and consistently track emotional fluctuations in children with special needs in real time in order to provide targeted support and improve their overall well-being. So the idea basically came through when we saw that there were so many emotions that people like you or me who are not, debilitated by mental illness can express through words, right? But kids with special needs, they're not, and a lot of them, like around 85% of them are nonverbal, right? So they can't really talk about their emotions. So we thought, when we went there, we thought like, why not, interact with these children? And we found out that these kids, they really like to, express themselves through arts or like just creation of things.
Just to bother, your presentation is not moving. Are you changing your presentation or are you on your own slide?
Yeah. Is it on?
Now it's moving.
It's moving now?
Yeah.
Okay. So how about now? Is it moving?
Yeah. No, it's. I'll share the screen and I'll share the screen and you can start presenting.
Actually, if it's fine, is it moving now?
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah, the basic idea was that we found that the kids were able to express well through art, and we thought that why not, incorporate a feeling chart for them. Like, we went there and we kind of like saw that these kids were able to express themselves through emotions, like emoticons. That's where our the name of the app also came from, emote. So we thought, why not, make an app related to that. So on the app, so the basic idea is the app will have emoticons, and the kids can every single day, like maybe twice daily, they can tap on the emotion that they're feeling that day. We can upload the art that they make, and that can be shared with the psychologists and the therapists and the caregivers. It can also keep a track of their mood, and then they can also identify the activities that which they enjoy, because a lot of the kids, they enjoy, say some of them enjoy painting, some of them enjoy football, but then not all of them enjoy the same activity, right? Also, one other important point is that this helps us keep track of any negative emotions that the kids might be displaying, like identifying patterns and things like that. So it's basically a mood tracker, but then it's easier for the caregivers to keep a track and like share the information. So the information dissemination becomes easier. Moving on, we did a research about the market, and we found out that there are three segments which are very interesting for us: the parents, the caregivers, and the individuals who might use the app. So we're going to target the caregivers at institutions like the one that we visited, that we work with. And there we're going to position ourselves with the app as a special needs specific app, which can provide real-time data and is very easily accessible for the caregivers and the kids. So when we did our competitive landscape, we did a competitor research. We found that there's one direct competitor called the Zones of Regulation, which uses cognitive behavioral approach. And there are quite a few indirect competitors which use meditative and mindfulness activities and, bedtime stories and calming activities for kids with special needs. But the one major issue that we found with our competitors is that these apps are not child-friendly. They do not capture their attention. These apps are not directly focused on the kids, rather they're more focused on calming the data that our app is going to provide. So that is our USP. Our USP is basically a mood tracking app which will allow children to easily track their moods using simple icons and labels. We're also going to provide historical data, which can provide the caregivers and therapists with a clear view of the child's emotional patterns over time. Plus, we will also have alerts, which can allow caregivers to set alerts for specific moods or patterns like negative emotions, so that they can intervene early and prevent meltdowns. Furthermore, we're going to, follow up with our institutions, whoever we partner with, and we're going to allow them to customize their app and make it easy to use, so that they can have games on it and they can, we can cater to their specific needs. Moving on. So we did work with a coder and a UI UX designer. So the thing is, we have been working on it for a while, and the results were not exactly as we were expecting them to be. So now we're working more on, improving on what we have been doing. So these are some of the interfaces that we have been able to create since our inception. So the first interface would be the welcome page, obviously, which the institution will provide to the caregivers, where they have their own account where they can view the average batch data, and then there's going to be a therapy log of all the therapies that are being provided to the kids in that institution. Next, we will have child-specific data as well, where, for example, a child showed some aggressive outburst, and then we can, kind of keep a record, like track the record of why the child might have shown such an outburst, or we can have an incident report on the app itself so that the caretakers do not waste time, trying to catch up with each other. Because a lot of the times when the shift changes, the caretaker doesn't really have the time or energy to share what happened in the previous shift. And the next shift's caretaker is kind of clueless as to why the child might be behaving the way that they're behaving.
1 minute remaining.
Okay, all right. So moving on, there's going to be student log as well. Our marketing strategy would be to partner with such educational institutions. We're going to reach afterwards, when we are scaling, we're going to reach out to parents and caregivers so that they can directly, use the app for their own kids or any kids that they're closely related to. We're going to use influencers, and as we all know that online marketing is such a easy to use platform right now, right? It helps us reach out to a wider audience. We're going to use online marketing as well. Our sales cycle is basically we prospect the institutions which can actually have suitable purchasing power for our subscription-based model. We're going to provide demonstration. We're going to follow up and cater to their specific needs. And we're going to focus on retention by keeping them engaged with new updates as and when we find something interesting. Our revenue model is basically a subscription-based model. We're going to have a monthly or annual fee based on, depending on how the institution wants to proceed with our app. We will also like to share our data insights for schools and health providers and government organizations so that they can do better research about whatever emotional-based research that they want to do. And psychologists often, they want to understand emotions of a person. So we will share the data insights. That can be another stream of revenue. We would like to partner with other organizations to provide support to families and consulting services with professionals and volunteers by using data insights generated by the app. These are the 4 revenue models that we have identified. At the moment, we would like to proceed with the first 2 because those are the most realistic, given that we're working at such a small scale. But in the foreseeable future, we would like to scale it up to multiple institutions.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for your time. If any questions.
Can you stop sharing the screen?
Okay.
Thank you so much once again, Team Emote, for the presentation. Now I would like to invite judges if they have any questions regarding your presentation.
Before that, there is a question to Team Emote from anonymous attendee. How would you guarantee privacy or protection of the personal data?
So personal data, it's obviously we would follow the codes of medical data sharing, and I am personally a metaverse enthusiast and I love blockchain and everything. So I was thinking that we could incorporate blockchains for having the data of every single student in a coded environment. Like it would be not accessible to everyone. We would obviously take permission before we share the data with any institutions beyond their own institution.
Thank you so much for answering. Now I would like to invite the judges if they have any questions regarding your presentation. I would like to hand over to Ms. Elizabeth Masamune.
Thank you very much, Team Emote, for your presentation, which I found it to be very engaging, and it's a great idea that you have. I didn't have too many questions because I think in your presentation, you were very comprehensive. You tried to cover all aspects of the business model, which was reasonably clear as well, which was very good. My one question was just, you mentioned that it was, you felt that your competitive advantage was because it's a very child-friendly app that, the main thing I was concerned about was competition, because I'm pretty sure you're probably not the only people who've actually thought of this as an unmet need. So, how to deal with the competition, and also how do you get children to use this? Because what sort of age child are we talking about? If we're talking about very young children, I don't imagine that they're going to be sort of using this on the smartphone. I imagine there was going to be sort of screen they might point to. Or how do you imagine the children are going to use it, and how that will lead on to more sort of competitive strengths for you?
Okay, so the thing is, we have already kind of started doing the work, and we've noticed that the kids are very, they're very quick to uptake the use of emoticons amongst themselves, even though even though they don't really communicate verbally, they can communicate through the emoticons. And
what age of child are we talking about here?
Sorry?
What age are they?
The child is of... yes, please, Divya, continue.
Okay, so basically, the app is to be used by the caretakers of the parents. They are going to be the one using it. They're going to be the one that'll take care of the children. They'll ask the children to log in their emotion or or upload their data. The child is not going to be the one who's actually going to be using the app. It's mostly for journaling. So the journaling is going to be done by the caretaker who's going to be who's going to take the charge of the child or the institution. So we just need to teach the children what sort of emotions are responsible, like what emoticons are responsible for what emotions. So, and also we're going to be uploading arts, and it's basically for a data tracker, so the psychologists can analysis whenever they whenever we go to them, they'll have the data with them. We don't need to carry the data every time for the child.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth-san, for asking these questions. I would like to invite Jun-san and Asman-san if they have any questions.
Oh yeah, first of all, thank you very much for presentation. I think the presentation is really beautifully crafted. It's found it needs for for child, and it's for using try to know their emotion. I mean, the niche is really nice, but then regarding the niche also, because I mean this is really niche product. It found it niche, but then if you see in the niche part, usually the kind of niche product, the importance of it, the importance of using of it for people is usually need to be solved. That part of it actually not really clear how for you to convince the market that the impact of using this this kind of emotional tracker is important. That part is still not clear, because I mean for me personally, I know, I mean this one is it's really benefit, but I don't know how is the market see on that part. So I want to know for you, how do you convince the import of using that? I think that 2 point is really important to elaborate. So yeah, I want to know more in that part.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer the global market as why do we need it. So basically around 1 to 3% of the global population is neurodivergent, which is around 200 million people. And if we talk about psychiatrists and their data, it's not well organized. And usually what happens with children, especially they're in an institution, it's hard to keep track on each child as to what activities affect them. Like like for one child, art can be really good outlet for them. For the other, it could be football. But it's harder in institution to keep track as to which child is affected by what activity. So if we journal their modes after every activity, we'll keep a track. Okay, this activity affects that like highly for this child. So for this child, if that this person is the student is throwing a fit or if he's feeling down, you could maybe use this activity like simply playing football to lift up his mood. And also, we went when we went for our when we went to this mental where we met the children, there was a child who developed herpes kind of wounds, and he wasn't able to actually express himself. So if daily we come up with an idea, that you have to log in your emotion, and if the daily login, we could keep a track. Like if a child is displaying an anger or a pain emotion for quite some time, we could understand, okay, maybe something is really wrong with this particular child, and we should do a thorough checkup with this particular child because they're not expressive enough, and then they don't express their pains, their emotions that easily. So if we keep a track, we could give attention to every single child, and it will be beneficial for them.
Yeah, I
And
think.
sorry.
Yeah, actually, I
So
just want to. Oh, okay, you can finish it.
So adding on to what Divya said, we also presented this idea to our uni where we fortunately got our first funding from. So there we talked to a lot of our VSO volunteers who go and work at these schools. Plus, we also talked to a lot of social workers, and they told us that something like such a database would be really helpful for them to understand the children's like daily activities and moods, because a lot of the times these social workers they're not present there daily. They have multiple points of work, right? So when they return to a school after a few days, they find they're not able to keep up with exactly what happened in the days that they were not present. So after talking to them, they thought that this was a really great idea. So we thought about catering to their needs as well.
Yeah, actually, for this, just a little bit like a suggestion and wrap up. Actually, like what you say is kind of like quite right, but like it will be easier for customer to know what is the benefit. And you mentioned the benefit. Basically, you can provide what activity can match with like the student and how to do it. You by tracking. I mean, like you track the emotion, and then like the problem. And you mentioned like because like kid hard to kind of like dealing with their emotion or something. So that kind of thing when you kind of like present it in really like from the benefit point of view, it will be kind of easy to digest. Like tracking, like COVID,
Thank you,
it
Azman
will be
San.
much easier for you to sell it.
And I'll hand over to Jun San for just a 1 minute.
Okay.
We have, and so
I wanted to say when you stop, but like I just skip it. Okay, just one question. Okay, then 1 minute. So, like, since you're already start your business or this implement this idea already? No, not yet.
Not yet. We haven't implemented.
We're working on we're working with this one school, and we've already like it's not implemented like a business. It's implemented more like a social entrepreneur work. Yeah.
I see.
So we're not earning any revenue. We're just doing our research at the moment.
I see. Okay, then I will just 1 minute. So I will change not questions, it's just feedback. I really agree with what Azman said. So I just became a parent. I became father just a few months ago. So as a parent, I just heard it, and from my perspective, as a person who would buy this, then as Azman said, what kind of like change I can expect. So it's really important to track it. But from tracking, my baby is feeling sad or happy, and I track. I got the point. And analysis. I think the main of the key product or service selling point is analysis from the track. What kind of data and what kind of points you could find out, and kind of analysis like result, and then according the analysis, what we can expect like change and improving from the current situation. So I think from your presentation, if we can see clearly from the problem what you guys or what people may have, And through this education and this service, this kind of achievement or improvement we can contribute, and it's more like clear to people who will would buy this, use this application from. That's it.
Thank you so much, Johnson. I think it's a very important point. They need to be very clear with their segmentation and what their customer is getting into, what they're paying for. They need to segmentize their thing. So, due to time constraint, I would like to move on to our third presenter, Ms. Chenere. Feel free to share the screen and start at your convenient. Let me know when you want to start, and I'll start the clock.
Sorry, I'm having a bit issue trying to share my screen. Okay, yeah. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Ikele Chinyere Cynthia. So I'll be talking on Chinat Foundation. Actually, Chinat Foundation, our theme is therapy through arts and counseling. The mission of this organization, SPECE, is a project that empowers the most vulnerable young adolescents within the age range of 18 to 24 years. So currently, a study has been actually talked about that during the period of pandemic, and it was actually registered that an increase in percentage of young adults suffered some kind of depression and anxiety rate. And coherently, young adolescents normally seek validation and self-expression to actually reach to their fullest potential. And that is why mostly within this age rate, it is really very important and necessary to guide their mind. And that was the motive behind this film, and that was the motive behind this organization, actually. And in order to actually improve a multiplier effect with young adolescents, the organization is centered on granting counseling and therapy through art by revalidating and improving. So the solution brought by this is through cognitive counseling by engaging the mind, reaffirmation, and positive reformation, that there is nothing beyond that the woman mind cannot actually achieve. Positive affirmation, vulnerable young adults that seek or that have limits, that are limited in self-esteem, but that couldn't actually express themselves, or they are suffering from societal pressure, can actually boost their confidence to be able to give out to the society the kind of gifts or talent they have within themselves. And also we intend to engage them through SNS. Through SNS, information about this affirmation can actually reach this wider range of adolescents. So the Rubicon button, this is actually a landing page of my site. The Rubicon button of Chinat Foundation is to guarantee mental well-being, because mental well-being is everything. And by occupying the mind through creative art, counseling, and affirmation, that depression and suicidal rate usually seen amongst this category of adolescents can actually be reduced to some extent. So why Chinat Foundation? Our unique customer services and packages and users of Ultra Silver strategy is my comparative advantage. Ultra Silver strategy is a strategy that involves a high level of meditation that can actually cause an alteration in the mind to make it come to a comfortable state. that boosts your potential to be able to do that which you think you cannot do. And then our Chinat Foundation seeks to integrate art therapy and counseling strategy that makes it spectacular from our competitors. And then I already gathered a 5 years experience in art industry, having also volunteered with some non-governmental organization that had something related to counseling and mental rehabilitation. So that gave me an experience to be able to thrive in this foundation. So our milestone, actually this organization started last year. Our milestone has actually run through April 2022, during the time when organization we are still coming back from the shock of the pandemic of COVID-19. So many people coming back from mental disorder, depressive state to this current month. And then this page actually showed what has been done so far: website traffic generation, massive awareness. And in order to gain more credence from my clients, I decided to pitch for a Pontic MBA at Pontic School of Science and Technology in the United States, which I got currently. So the revenue model is more like, currently we are merging both, because it's a newly startup, we are trending on the role of a non-governmental organization, more like social impact, creating a social impact. So I get to engage my audience through SNS art templates that have been tagged on websites. So when the audience read this, if the audience decision is no, it goes a long way to still improve the customer's perception to life. And if the audience decision is yes, the audience gives us a feedback form on the website. And then through click per rates, we get increase in the amount of followers, and then traffic generation or through ads on Google can also help to give us some revenue model. Then I'm currently seeking collaboration from some non-governmental organizations and philanthropists, as well as my cohorts in the MBA program. So the proposed model is that if someone comes in as a client that should be cancelled, going through a societal distress, that after this Chinat Foundation, there should be an increased rate from the depressed rates prior to when the client actually came. So right now, Chinat Foundation, currently, as the century goes by, there is a lot of societal pressure on young adolescents, categorically tagged the Gen Z generation. So young adolescents question their existentiality. And then it is very necessary and paramount that at this particular staging point, that their mind should be modeled. So Chinat Foundation will reduce about 35% of adolescents and teenagers from committing suicide or from being depressed. So, and currently we evolve differently in different ways, and with people growth rate and span equally also differs. And so that is why Chinat Foundation comes in to actually be a solution to this particular issue. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chinobe-san, for your presentation. I'd like to invite judges first to give comments and ask questions, then we'll move on to participants' questions.
Right. Thank you very much, Chinya, for that very interesting presentation. I think that it's very clear that, trying to meet the problem or address the problem of mental health and depression amongst this age group is extremely important. So that's great. But from your presentation, it's just not really clear to me on a number of fronts how you would really achieve this, or whether you have any case studies yet that you can offer to support it. So is this whole thing done online, for example? How do you facilitate real interaction and therapy with art-based things if it's just in an online manner? That might be my first question. My second question is more about the scalability of it. So if it involves meditation and having to be guided through a number of those sort of processes, it would seem that it's quite resource intensive per person to really achieve a significant change in their mental well-being. So if this is really you trying to start something new yourself, what would be the scalability would be my next question. And finally, I realise now why you've got the name Chinart, because it's a combination of art and your name. However, when people look at that, when I first looked at it from an English language perspective, the first word that jumps at you is China, not Chinart. So it is actually, as a name, quite counterintuitive in some ways. So doesn't really, I think, convey what you're trying to achieve. But that's just some personal feedback for you. So my questions are more
currently about how I've leveraged. I actually developed a prototype, and the prototype was tested with families and friends. Like I said, it's just a new startup. We are still growing, and we currently started April. So trying out with family and friends, they were like, some gave positive feedback, some gave negative feedback, which I'm still working on and trying to improve on it. Then about scalability. Currently, is physical presence in assumption and rehabilitation state, but that is still in the long prospect goals, like long-term goals of seeking funding, collaborations from other business co-founders. Yes. Then about the name, I'll consider it. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I thank you for presentation. I have a little bit question for your service. So what is the component of it? Is it like first, like basically, can you explain the process of like your service? Is it like first people see your social media art and then they go to you contact for what kind of meditation or something like? What is the whole process of your service?
Exactly, you got the picture. The first contact with the client is through SNS on my website, like on SNS pages, because I currently have Twitter handle, Facebook handle, because that is how I get my clients. So based on the ads driven by Google, they can click on the link and then it lands them to my website. Then if they are really interested, they can now proceed to fill a form, and then I schedule a one-on-one counseling session with them. And that brings about other packages involved. We have bricks and ruin day package, whereby each morning you then to reaffirm, make positive utterances to yourself, like a kind of growth challenge schedule. Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering. I would like to ask Johnson if he has any questions.
Thank you. Probably I'm not that much like good understanding about this therapy stuff, but how is different? I mean, so like see art and like it's going to therapy stuff, but so how? I'm sorry, it's a really basic question, but how it works? Like art and kind of the therapy stuff is how it works actually. And second question is, what is different with the other kind of like art or kind of those like stuff and between of yours? Like, I mean, what is different with these normal things and your like specifically? Just
one specific thing about my foundation is that we make use of what we call ultrasound strategy. And why I involved art is that art itself, although not for every individual, because our perception differs. That is why Chinart actually has a target audience. So people who love art have a high sensual or appeal to things, and most artistic objects are soothing to the nerves. So that's why I kind of integrated both art, rehabilitation, and counseling all at the same time to bring the mind to that stability level whereby you can be able to expose your pains, your troubles. Art has a way of soothing the nerve, just the calming effect of art, integrating it with counseling and therapy. That is what makes it unique, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Chenere, I have some questions from the audience, but I would like to summarize it up, and because we just have 1 minute left with this. Most of the questions that came from audience is like, have you consulted a mental health expert to check the assumptions made by you? And where did you come up with 35% that you mentioned in your presentation? And what kind of impact that you're looking to make in the society, your target audience? And in the world of social media, it's very overcrowded. How do you stand apart from your other competitors? If you can explain a bit on that.
Yeah, actually, the questions are so many. I just hope I don't lose any. But about the target audience and the social impact in the long goal, the target audience is really adolescent. And we know that the adolescent forms the youth, and the youth is a building block of any society. So if we can cultivate these young minds at this particular stage, let's say, although not all sort of adolescent is meant for vulnerable adolescent that doesn't have self-esteem to come out to the society to express their potentials. So by grooming these vulnerable adolescents, they could be able to maximize their potential to the fullest, and that adds to the societal impact of the society. I think that is the picture in the greater aspect. And then how I tend to be different. Yes, the social media is very crowded. How I tend to be different from the social media is actually through my SNS and ads, or collaborating with someone that actually is a software developer or a social media marketer, of course, could actually bring up an up sketch on getting people that are very much interested in Chinat Foundation. And if the next question was about the 35%, sorry, the 35% is not globally. The 35% per se is streamlined to the little underground, will I say, questionnaire, secondary questionnaire and primary research I did with families and friends and people related to me. Yeah, that was how the 35% came out.
Thank you so much.
It's not a true representation of the general sector, but just a prototype of a particular sector of people that I tested out my idea on.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chenere, for answering all those questions. Just a point from my side. I found the presentation was good, but it had a lot of aspects in it. I got overwhelmed by the information that was there. So you might want to think about streamlining it a bit, and also put your case studies, even if you did with your parents or other people, it's still a case study. It's still your data set.
Right.
Yeah, that makes it more convincing when you're pitching it to somebody. Why they should invest in your business, why they should even consider collaborating with you. So they need something, okay, like there is a market for it. There are people interested in it. So that's it. Thank you. So that makes the end of this business competition. And I would like to thank all the participants and especially our esteemed judges for agreeing to judge this competition. For the participant, I would ask them to keep an eye on your emails. We'll contact you shortly after getting all the scorings from the judges and going through it. Once again, I think it was a really nice presentation by all of you. You can see the screen. QR code on the screen for all the participants that joined this business pitch. Please put your comments down there if you had regarding this competition. How can we make it better? And if you had any comments for any specific team that pitched during this presentation, this competition, we would love to share with them. And do follow us on our LinkedIn page at AYF Youth AYF Global. And once again, thank you so much for joining this competition and participating in this competition to all. And I would like to hand over the floor to the judges if they have any closing statement to make. Thank you so much once again for joining this competition.
Thank you, everybody, once again for your time this evening, and also for your very original ideas, all of which are very on point in terms of being able to contribute to wellness in society and to contribute to the well-being of people everywhere, which is really what we're all aiming for. So congratulations on having made it to the business pitch final round. We will give your presentation some more careful consideration before we decide on the winner. But I'm very impressed with the quality of what we've heard this evening and the originality of your ideas. So thank you very much for all of that and the time and effort that you've put in so far. So just wanted to say thank you once again on behalf of AYF to everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elizabeth, for those kind words. I would like to also invite at the same time Mr. Osman to say some closing statements to our participants.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. You already prepared that presentation and it was really nice. And also, I want also thank you to Elizabeth because like actually I used to be prepared for a presentation and she taught me a lot about it. And trust me, I mean, like what you do is really important for your work. Even my work now, like it's about like how to kind of like convince people about our ID, how to make them support our ID. So, I mean, like what you're doing now, it will be really like useful for your future. So congratulations. Now you are in the final stage of it. So whatever the result, it will be, I mean, like you've been in this stage. So, I mean, like you already learned a lot of it. So yeah, we will try our best to select which one is like the kind of like the best out of it, but all of you already achieved a lot. So congratulations and like thank you also for AYF for kind of like making this event. So yeah, see you later.
Thank you so much, Mr. Osman, for your kind words. And with last but not the least, Mr. Johnson, if you have any kind words, please.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really impressive, and I really enjoyed the presentation. Yeah, just one thing, a few things. Yeah, I think it's time to keep moving on, and to moving on, probably you need to be probably flexibility about your idea. Sometimes some like need to change your direction. Sometimes you need to change your idea, the thing also. But I think it's really important to be flexibility, but stick with your what you want, what kind of like problem you want to solve. Don't like move that much about your like the target, the people, and this problem you want to tackle, but being flexibility with your ideas and consume and hear others' voices. I think it's really important, and the most important is being tough and keep going even if you face some hurdle and obstacle. So please keep going on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Jinsan. So I would like to close this business competition by just a last word that my grandfather used to say is like, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So we should keep moving forward, whatever the result it is. It doesn't mean who won the competition is the best. It's what down the line that you do and you make up for it. So I would say best of luck. And once again, thanks to all the judges and participants for joining this and making this program a success. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you so much. ありがとうございました。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.